Hey everyone, what's up and welcome back to a brand new video. And in today's video we're going to be talking about the 2020 gubernatorial elections. I don't think I've posted one of these in 3 weeks, maybe a month, maybe even more than that, but it's about time that we do that. And yeah, so we're going to get started by filling out states of New Hampshire and Vermont as safe for the Republican Party, and I used to characterize these as likely, but I mean, let's be real here. I mean, if you want to look at the polling, for start with Vermont, this is a lot. I'll do New Hampshire. Polls in New Hampshire putting Dan Feltz, who won that primary. He ended up winning that. Kirsten is ahead by 24 against Dan Feltz. And then, if you want to look at the polls that are in Vermont, that's Puerto Rico governor polling, and I didn't realize. I'm just trying to find the polls for Vermont here, because they're not pretty for the Democrats in Vermont, to be real, because you have most Democrats even voting for Phil Scott, who's a liberal Republican. David Zuckerman is the nominee. Scott ahead by 35. Scott ahead by 23. So these are safe Republican. You're going to have a lot of Democrats just voting for Scott. There are Democrats in New Hampshire who may not vote for Sununu, but Sununu's still going to win. It could be by a likely margin, but, I mean, I'll be real, I don't expect it to be by anything less than 12%, based on the polling data that we've seen so far. And remember, these are both popular governors with high approval ratings. So, now we're going to give the state of Delaware to the Democratic Party. Now, there is actually a primary happening between David Lamar Williams and John Carney, who's the incumbent governor of Delaware. If you want to look at Delaware, it's somewhere Delaware. There is a primary happening between John Carney, he'll face David Lamar Williams Jr., and yeah, the Republican primary is probably going to go to Bryant Richardson, but whoever wins this, like, no matter who the candidates are, it's going to go safe for the Democrats. Moving on to the state of West Virginia, that'll be likely. I mean, they elected Jim Justice as a conservative Democrat, so West Virginia does tend to like conservative Democrats a lot, even though they are a Republican state. But you gotta remember that West Virginia went to Jim Justice just as a result of the Joe Manchin Republicans coming out for him. You know, kind of like how Vermont likes liberal Republicans, West Virginia likes conservative Democrats, and that's how that's essentially how Jim Justice won, and he ran as a Democrat, but he switched parties in 2017, then switched back to the Democrats in 2018, then became a Republican in 2019. So he's been endorsed by Trump, even though he's a flip-flopper. So maybe he'll switch back to the Democrats, but he's going to win re-election. I mean, doesn't have a super strong challenger. The challenger's name is Ben Salongo, but either way, I don't really expect Salongo to be able to pull it off, even in the best case scenario for him. Indiana's going to be saved. Not really much to talk about there. I understand there was a poll that came out I'm going to do all those polls that came out of Indiana. They only put Holcomb ahead by 6, but that's not a great poll. It's a little left leaning, not too left leaning. It's a decent poll, but I mean, when you look at all the other polls in Indiana that talk about the governor's race, you have Holcomb ahead by 43, by 29, by 20, and Woody Myers doesn't really have a chance at this race. I mean, the polling data, plus the fact that this is a red state in that Eric Holcomb isn't crazy popular, but he's not unpopular either, so not really an issue for the Republicans there. In Missouri, I originally characterized this as a lean Republican seat, but, I mean, let's be real here. This seat is not going to be flipping anytime soon, especially in the state that's trending red. Now, Parson is doing better in the polling than you'd expect. I mean, there's a poll that came out that had him only ahead by 2 over Nicole Galloway, but Galloway's the state auditor. She is statewide elected, which is a good sign for her, but at the governor's level, at such a high-ranking position within the state, they're not going to vote for someone like Nicole Galloway to be their governor, even though she is a good candidate. North Carolina, I forgot to fill that one out, but that's going to be Democrat, and I see these people saying that North Carolina could be close. You gotta remember that Roy Cooper, he won by a very thin margin in 2016. I'm trying to pull up North Carolina. He beat Pat McCrory. I don't want the Wikipedia page. North Carolina, he beat Pat McCrory, and, you know, he was the incumbent, and there wasn't really a problem with McCrory, but if you're going to look at the race ratings in North Carolina, sure, most people thought it would be going to the Democrats, but there's a reason for that. It was because Cooper ran such a strong campaign. So, you know, it's just tough to characterize this as anything less than lean Democratic. I mean, the best case scenario could be tilt, but this is Roy Cooper's a popular governor. He's been praised for handling COVID-19, running against a controversial, more right-wing Republican. He shouldn't really have a problem there. North Dakota, you know who's not going to have a problem is Doug Burgum. He even has a +8, according to Morning Consult. He has a +8 approval with Democrats as well. So they're going to be voting for him. Shelley Lenz is his opponent. She's not super. She's not that. She's somewhat progressive, but I mean, she doesn't really have a chance. I mean, running in a solidly red state should be an issue for Doug Burgum to win re-election. Trying to find North Dakota. Doug Burgum, he did have a primary challenger, but Shelley Lenz, she won the Democratic nomination, primary theirs, but she's essentially running as a populist, which could be good for her. Maybe she'll get 30% of the vote, but I highly doubt that she'll even get that. So, the state of Utah, I mean, Utah, I don't really, Utah's interesting because we have an anti-Trump Republican running there, Spencer Cox, against Christopher Peterson, who I believe is a professor at Utah University. So, this is a solidly Republican state. The Republicans are going to hold on to this. This is their second safest seat behind North Dakota. So, they've already gone the majority, and we're going to say Montana for last. Washington, that'll be safe for the Democrats. I mean, Jay Inslee is pretty well liked in Washington. He ran for president, remember, but the polling has him up by, he's running against Lauren Culp, by the way. For a while, I did say that Tim Eyman was going to win that nomination for the Republicans, because he was an outspoken anti-lockdown activist, but it went to Lauren Culp. So Culp, he's going to be able to make it. He won't lose by 29, but he won't win by any. But he's not going to. Even at a best case scenario, this would still be safe. I mean, Jay Inslee is a well-known national figure who really isn't disliked, and there are going to be Republicans who vote for him because of his praised handling of the COVID-19 lockdown. So, yeah. And now we're going to move on to our last state, which is the state of Montana. And this is a flip. I originally characterized Montana, I'll put it in the lean column. I originally characterized this as a tilt Democrat seat. But, I mean, the polling has been really bad for Mike Cooney. I mean, he should be doing better than he is right now. He is a lieutenant governor. He's statewide elected. In fact, I'm going to pull up the page. Hopefully I can find it right here. But Montana, I know in 2020, I went 2016, where Cooney ended up being the lieutenant governor. He won that race. So we're going to go to find Montana, where hopefully I'm able to. There's an Oregon special governor. Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Montana doesn't seem to want to let me pull that up. So, Mike Cooney, he ran as the running mate for the Democrats under popular Governor Bullock. That's basically why he won. So Mike Cooney was his running mate, as you can see. But that's essentially it. Cooney should be winning. I mean, I even looked up their both YouTube channel. Cooney had a good ad about calling Gianforte out for saying the fairest tax is the one that you pay and I don't. So he should be winning this. I mean, Gianforte is controversial. He body slammed a reporter. He says some stuff that could be taken out of context against him. And Cooney's still losing. I mean, look at the polling. I'm sorry, but Mike Cooney should be winning this race 100%. I mean, a recent poll had him behind by 1, but some of these, when you average it out, he's, losing by 9, losing by 8. So these polls that are putting Gianforte ahead, I'm going to trust them. It's not like a one-off where you see one poll that has him ahead by 1. Sampling even registered voters, 800 of them, to be exact, putting Gianforte ahead by 3. The Democrats really should be holding on to the seat, and it's a critical seat that they need to hold on to just for at least 4 more years. And they're not, so that's bad news for them. And I think Gianforte is going to end up winning it, unfortunately for a lot of people in Montana. And by the way, Mike Cooney is still going to outperform Joe Biden in Montana for sure, but it's not going to be. I don't really think that Cooney's going to win at this point in time. So guys, thanks for watching this video. I know it's not a little dead. I'm tired today. Again, I'm sorry about that. But hopefully you all enjoyed this video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. By the way, we were at 965 subscribers at the time of this recording. I really want to get to 1,000 within the next 2 weeks, maybe 1 week. But if we can do that, that would be so awesome, guys. I cannot even tell you. Whoops. That would make me so happy. And I really think we can do it, guys. I think we can do it. So, guys, do your part. Hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you all in the next one. Also, I almost forgot to mention it. Be sure to follow Instagram. So check out all the links in the description, especially Instagram, and I'll see you all tomorrow.